the divine collapse and the symbolism of the moon. There has been much speculation about the moon. Some claim it to be an artificial satellite placed deliberately. But here, we explore the moon through an occultist's lens. The earth is the heart. Through the heart, we enter the stomach. The heart, like a single eye, represents Adam, the Garden of Eden. Above this lies the sun, now fallen, becoming the lesser light. The moon is a spiritual abode, filled with spirit, represented symbolically by water, a womb in process. Exoterically speaking, while the moon appears desolate and dry on the surface, it may symbolize a hollow vessel potentially filled with water. This is not to say the moon is literally filled with water, but that it could represent the mystery of what is unseen, the possibility that within, the symbol of water remains hidden, internal, and untouched. It symbolizes mood, gestation, becoming. The sun, in a sense that reaches beyond time, impregnates this womb. We experience time by observing movement, comparing moments, all held in relativity. These symbols, including the sun and sky, represent idea. The spirit of the earth is the heart. All things are upside down, backwards and inside out. Truth is invisible, divine light of darkness, and infinite collapse, spirit. God the Father collapses. The Son turns inward. Adam, who is the heart, is sacrificed. These symbols represent aspects of the self, not separate beings. Father, Son, Spirit, Adam, all one. We visualize them to understand what cannot be spoken. The moon is where the fallen sun enters through the heart. The lesser light appears as the greater light. But the true light is darkness, the space between stars. That too is only symbolic. It cannot be spoken. To speak it is to turn it into idea, just another opinion. This world is dreamlike. What seems solid is reversed. The Father has collapsed. The Son has turned inward. The sun above is the fallen light entering itself. The greater light cannot be seen, heard, or written. It is the tale that cannot be told. The head above the heart swallows itself like a flood. Water pours down, but this isn't just a downward motion through the esophagus. It passes through the heart. It is divine light of darkness. Eating, breaking down food, is a metaphor. Being is broken and chewed, the outpouring of spirit, described as water. This is the fall of the greater light into the lesser, becoming the wolf in sheep's clothing. The earth is spirit. The seed, the idea, rises through the body in reverse, through the intestines to the stomach, which is earth. The seed represents the sun. It is black in the center, rising to become the yellow sun. But the sun's nature is darkness, then clarity, then whiteness, then shining yellow rays containing all colors, waves of unseen electricity. The spirit rising up is also reflected in the biblical symbolism. In Genesis 7 verse 11, it says, "All the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. The waters came down and rose up. The spirit falls and rises." The seed, not seat, is spirit. It is water, symbolically. This triggered a deeper memory, the collapse of the Father, and the pattern of inversion symbolized through homosexuality. I had recorded something else about this, and it belongs here. What follows expands on that moment. This is not a message of judgment. This is not political. This is symbolic. I'm not speaking literally. I'm interpreting the patterns we see around us as spiritual reflections, images cast down from above, inverted and distorted through the lens of this fallen world. Everything I'm about to say is a symbolic unfolding of divine truth as it appears when turned upside down, backwards, and inside out. Let's begin with this. The collapse of the Father is the root of the entire symbolic distortion we are now witnessing in culture, in identity, in sexuality, and in the soul of the world. This collapse begins as molestation, not in the literal sense, but symbolically. When the archetype of the Father collapses, its reflection in the material realm becomes corrupted. The relationship that was once holy becomes unholy. The sacred connection becomes grotesque. That is why, when viewed from below, This first phase appears as molestation, a symbolic perversion of the sacred bond between father and son. The second phase is the turning of the son's back toward the father. Spiritually, this is part of the divine plan, the descent. But symbolically, in this world, it appears as incest. Not because that is what it truly is in the heavens, but because that is what the inversion of the holy relationship looks like down here in the broken mirror. This is the son bowing away from the father, withdrawing from the eternal order, beginning his descent toward Adam. Then comes the third phase. The son, having turned away from the father, moves toward Adam, the heart, the altar, the Garden of Eden. He bends toward man, toward the created one, in love and sacrifice. But again, seen from below through an unholy lens, this becomes the symbol of homosexuality. Not literal homosexuality in the modern sense, but symbolically, the masculine bending toward the masculine in the absence of the father's order. It is the spiritual template of the divine becoming twisted through the fall, appearing on earth as sexual inversion. This is how divine movement becomes misread through human vision. Above, it is holy. Below, it is mistaken for perversion. Let me be clear. These three stages, molestation, incest, and homosexuality, are not actual heavenly events. They are what we see when the holy is viewed through the filter of unholiness. These symbols arise only when the divine becomes misunderstood. In a fallen world, you cannot speak directly of what is above. It is too pure to beyond. And so when we speak of it from below, we speak in symbols, and these are the shapes those symbols take. This must be made known because the spirit of this inversion is active within every one of us. We all contend with it. We feel the pressure. We struggle with the descent, with the pull toward distortion. Without understanding these movements symbolically, we are left only with shame, confusion, and guilt. The sacred mystery cannot be escaped, only misread. In this fallen reflection, we mistake symbols for substance and shadows for form. Yet even the inversion points back. Those who come to see through the veil are not merely waking, they are remembering. The journey is not one of arrival, but of realignment. To align again with what was never lost, only obscured. Thus we return, not by climbing, but by turning. Amen. Let it be so.